This is From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Each week, Janice shares her wisdom to enlighten, educate, and advance the culture in America today. Janice Pons is a mother, author, and free thinker, and your host for our podcast this evening. Now let's join your host, Janice Pons.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Janice Pons. I am the host on this podcast, From Destruction to Dignity, Clinical Perspective, Spiritual Truths. Tonight, we're going to continue our journey as we the people. We've been focused on establishing a clear path of understanding regarding our nation and how it's structured and how it's supposed to work. And our flag represents our great nation, the states thereof. The presidential seal represents we the people's our house. We the people, our house. Our states are full of citizens who are struggling. And we're going to continue to pray. You know, every Monday I want to thank you. I want us to continue to pray for our nation every Monday. And thank you for those of you who are joining in at noon, wherever you are. Let's join together and pray for our nation, for our leadership, for the citizens thereof, because there are 265,900,000 Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck and barely can make ends meet. That's 78% of working Americans. That's a lot of people. Within these struggles, we can easily get overwhelmed with feeling absolutely defeated. Suppose we need to stand up for our rights as a citizen. How would we know that we need to even take a stand? Many are absolutely clueless regarding our constitutional rights. We spent 2 or 3 weeks on this. We don't understand our rights. Sometimes they've been violated. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. Let's look at that. How will you know if you need to take a stand for yourself as a citizen in this great nation? How are you going to know? The U.S. Constitution is the foundation of our legal system and the basis of our rights as citizens. It is essential to protect these rights, and every citizen, every one of us, should be aware of what to do if we suspect that our rights have been violated. If you believe your constitutional rights have been violated, it is important to take action as soon as possible. Ask questions. This can help ensure that you get the justice that you deserve. Now, we're going to talk out loud tonight. This is what we do. We talk out loud. We just look at things. I want to provoke thought, bring awareness, and point us as Americans together, supporting, loving each other, praying for each other. No matter our differences, praying for each other, loving each other, talking to and with each other versus at each other. That's my motto on social media. I guess that's why my followers have just increased. I'm so grateful. Yes, I am. It's a place where we grow and explore and support and pray for each other. And I found that some people are isolated. I've interacted with people on social media and said, Janice, you just don't know. I live in the boondocks. I don't have anybody out here. And I appreciate some of the things you talk about and providing an environment where we can come and know that you care about us and we care about each other. I don't do throwing under the bus on my social media platforms. When people want to do that, I'm like, listen, you can make a decision. You can stay or leave. But there's certain things I don't tolerate on my page, on my platforms. I support, I love. I don't care who you are. I support you. I'm going to love you. And then sometimes we need to have serious interactions about certain things. Because I'm going to tell you one thing I'm not going to compromise, and it's our children not being protected. And so the dynamics and the issues thereof, I'm going to speak about. That's my professional calling. And that's my calling as a believer, as a Christian, as a mom. I hope to be a grandma one day. That's my calling. Okay. So we got to look out for each other. I'm looking out for these babies. That's the older I get, the more I'm getting a revelation of that. Is that everything that I do is going to point back to that. Our future, our posterity. That ties that in with the preamble of our Constitution. So it's important to take action sometimes as it relates to our children, as it relates to our nation. These parents showing up at education, at the boards of education about all the stuff going on with the dynamics of our kids. What are we supposed to do? And they were labeled as domestic terrorists. Please sit down and take several seats. These parents are going to show up, and they need to be empowered to show up. How do we get the justice that we deserve? We're going to look at how you can protect your rights and to seek help if you think that you have been violated. Your rights have been violated. First of all, you got to know your rights. The first step to protecting your constitutional rights is to know what they are. The U.S. Constitution outlines the fundamental rights of citizens, including the right to free speech, the right to bear arms, the right to a fair trial. It's important to understand these rights and to be aware of any changes or updates to the law. You got to read, you got to research, you got to ask questions. And then sometimes you get to a point where you're going to contact the lawyer. If you believe your constitutional rights have been violated, the best thing to do is to contact a lawyer. Now listen, you got plenty of lawyers, say, well, I don't have any money. Well, they're not going to get any money unless you win a case. A lawyer can help you understand your rights and advise you on the best action. That's what they do. An experienced attorney can also help you determine if you have a valid legal claim, and they can represent you in court if necessary. A lot of lawyers, they specialize in constitutional law, and they can help protect your rights. They understand the importance of protecting your rights and are dedicated to helping you get the justice that you deserve. They're trained in that. So what is involved? Gathering evidence. I tell people, keep a log. Keep a chronological log. Yes. It's important to gather evidence if your constitutional rights have been violated. This can include any documents or records that may be relevant to your case, such as police reports, emails, or photographs. It's also important to note any witnesses or other people who may have seen or heard the violation. This evidence can be used to support your case and help you prove that your rights were indeed violated. File a complaint. This is where, hold on. Yeah, this is where people get scared. They get scared to file a complaint. Listen, you put yourself in a position where the system works for you. I remember the first time I did that, I was scared. But I was like, wait a minute, what is going on in this situation? I believe it's a violation of my rights. And true enough, it was like, yes, your rights have been violated. So you sit down and you count the costs. Then you count the costs and know that patience is required as you allow the system to work for you. So you document what's going on. I was in a situation, I'm not going to get into the particulars of it, but God said you need to keep a log of what's going on. I had this chronological log, and as that situation progressed to a certain point, I was asked a specific question because I knew what had gone on in that situation. where a lot had been violated. Not only mine, but boy, serious stuff. And I'm going, wow, I kept a log of it. God said keep a log. And so when it came time at a particular point of what was unfolding for accountability, yeah, I pulled out my log. They asked me a very pertinent, specific question, and I pulled out my log. And I said, on such and such a date, such and such, so and so. And they were like, what is that you have? I said, it's my log. Who wrote that? I said, I did. I wrote the log. I kept a log of everything that was going on because it got that vibe. Let me tell you what, they started scattering like roaches. They started literally physically running around the room because they knew that I had a chronological log of a long list of violations that was organizational. It was just, they had broken the law. And so you just have to go, wait a minute. When these rights are violated, it's a violation of the law. And so you got to get at peace and go, God, you have got to help me walk this out. And there are people that are trained that can help you do it. And so filing a complaint is your right as a citizen of this great nation. There are systems of grievances that are in place to help you. And so a lot of people want you to cuss somebody out and turn some tables over and say, and then they'll go, see how they act? Last thing you need to do, keep your cool, stay professional, stay calm, keep a chronological log, and find out what your options are. File a complaint. Depending on the nature of the violation, you may need to file a complaint you may need to follow with the police department. It gives a record of it. The court system, it gives a record of it. Or the federal government, that's a record of it. The EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, it's a record of it. It's easy to find. You go right online, EEOC. Check these things out, read. It's important to provide as much information as possible. The questions are set up and structured in a way that they're going to get the information to determine if you got a case. This includes any evidence that you've gathered. It's important to gather evidence. Yes, it is. Then you determine if you're going to seek legal representation. These are important, mature, adult-like decisions. An experienced attorney can help you understand your rights and advise you on the best course of action if your constitutional rights have been violated. They can also help you gather evidence. You file a complaint, and they can help you file the complaint. They can represent you in court if necessary. There are people that understand their training, their livelihood is in protecting your rights. And they're dedicated to helping you get the justice that you deserve. One of the biggest challenges that a lot of people have is even knowing how to stand up for themselves. From a clinical perspective, we're going to look at that. What are self-advocacy skills? You know, I'm always talking about strategy, skills, and tools. The therapeutic process is providing a structure where you put a language to it. You put a language to it, and you name and explain, and you process and you metabolize strategies, skills, and tools. What is a skill? A skill is something you do to be able to address an issue, to solve a problem. So when we're talking about these types of things and violation of rights and constitutional rights, self-advocacy skills is pertinent. It's at the core of it. Self-advocacy skills are the essential abilities required to effectively communicate needs, desires, and rights your needs, your desires, and your rights, and to foster greater independence and self-determination. These skills encompass a range of competencies that together they empower us as individuals, as citizens, to navigate personal, educational, professional, and social landscapes more effectively. That we got to have a structured way to approach these things. Now, what do we need to consider when we're talking about self-advocacy? Self-advocacy. This is new territory for a lot of people. Now, self-awareness. This involves recognizing your strengths, your weaknesses, your preferences, and your values. By understanding those types of factors, you can better identify your needs and the best way to address them. We're talking about operating at levels of maturity that some may be clueless about. This is why you need to have a support system. You need to have friends. You need to have healthy people. This is why the therapeutic process can be helpful, where you sort these things out. It's structured. Support groups, sponsors can help you talk these things out. Writing, journaling. Yeah. Being assertive is another tool for self-advocacy. It's a critical skill that helps effectively convey your thoughts and your needs clearly and confidently without aggression or passivity. Passivities mean you just shut down. You don't say anything. You just kind of go along to get along. No. Assertiveness is a skill that ensures that your voice is heard and that your voice is respected in various interactions. Yes, I've learned to master that. Then there's effective communication. We're talking about self-advocacy. Effective communication, not cussing, not yelling. Effective communication is using verbal and nonverbal communication that can help to convey messages accurately and make sure responses are understood. Good communication, it involves active listening, which means paying full attention to whoever is speaking, understanding their message, and responding thoughtfully. What if we teach our children how to do this? Another aspect of self-advocacy is problem solving and decision making. Listen, self-advocates must be able to assess situations, look at it, determine what's going on, consider various options, and make informed decisions that best meet their needs. This often involves gathering information, weighing pros and cons. You got to weigh it out, you got to talk it out, and anticipating potential outcomes. You got to think it through. Then there's negotiation skills. Yeah. Whoa, if we teach our kids, this is powerful stuff. If we teach our kids how to think like this, what a powerful nation we'll have. Negotiation skills, that's the ability to negotiate. It's important, especially in scenarios where compromise is necessary. Being able to negotiate effectively means finding mutually beneficial solutions while still advocating for one's own needs and interests. Can you see how we can make this nation so powerful that we learn to do things like this? This is where I talk about marvelous Monday, terrific Tuesday, wonderful Wednesday, tremendous Thursday, fantastic Friday. What if as a nation we honed in on a particular skill on a particular day? And that's what we talk about at our dinner table, or that's what we kind of rehearse before we send the kids out to school, or before they go to bed at night. Can we structure America for greatness around these types of flows, these types of presentations? That this is how we think, this is how we talk. We're going to have our individuality, but we're going to be empowered as a nation. I saw a video of little kids in China, and what they were doing. Listen, You're talking about structure? And those little boys being such gentlemen to those little 3 and 4-year-old girls, they are very intentional. Yeah, we've gotten away from so much in our nation that made us have manners and structure and respect and dignity. Another aspect of self-advocacy is resilience. Resilience. Resilience and persistence are key. Self-advocacy often involves overcoming obstacles and facing resistance. You got to face it. It's the ability to stay focused on one's goals, maintain motivation, and adapt to challenges, which is absolutely vital for effective self-advocacy. Yeah, listen, I love talking about this kind of stuff because this is how we empower each other as one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. All I want to do is to love and support my fellow Americans as we provoke thought, bring awareness, and look at pointing each other, supporting each other towards intervention. It's going to look different ways. But I tell you one thing that's going to be involved in it is self-advocacy. Oh yeah, we're going to look at our rights, empower each other with those rights. Yes, these are wonderful things as we flow together as one. That's what forming a more perfect union means. That's in our preamble of our Constitution. Forming a more perfect union, which simply means we are flowing together as one. As we go together from destruction to dignity, clinical perspectives, spiritual truths. You know me, I love America. I love you. Even if you don't agree with me, I love you. You know why? I respect you as my fellow American. Listen, let's keep showing up. Remember, we're going somewhere. And it's expecting us when we get there. I am excited about our nation because I'm excited about you. I'm excited about me. I'm excited about God. I'm excited about our future because we're still here. That means God's not done with America. Why? We are still here. Listen, I will see you next week. I appreciate you joining in. God bless you. See you next week and good night.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Janice's mission is to provoke thought, bring awareness, and point people towards intervention when needed. As a reminder, this show is not therapy, but for educational purposes only. For more information, check out JanicePons.com or follow her on social media.
We are one power, strength is ours, liberty, been set free, education, affirmation, dedication, information, revelation.